Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are here this evening on ACC Sim Series, and I'm joined below by Mr. Boonatix. Hello, Stefan. You all right?
Hey, good evening. Hi, everyone. I'm absolutely feeling amazing, and I'm really looking forward to this session with you.
Yeah, it should be good fun. We're trying sort of a new format this evening. We're doing a little coaching session. Stefan's going to teach us essentially how the setup menu works for GT3. We'll be asking some questions. You'll soon come to realise I know absolutely nothing about the setup menu. And we're going to be trying... we've got a race on Sunday that we're going to be practicing for, which is our 2.4-hour invitational race around Kyalami. And for that, I decided to be brave and pick the Bentley. So Stefan's essentially going to teach us how to drive the Bentley, essentially.
Yes, a very, very wise choice, I have to say. If anyone is watching who is still kind of asking himself what car he should pick, and if you're basically just starting out in the game, the Bentley is actually a very, very good choice. It's just big, but it also is very gentle. It is smooth, and it kind of, forgives you mistakes easier than other cars. So I would definitely recommend to any beginner who is not sure to give the Bentley a try. You just need to get used to sitting on the right, if you're not British, of course. So yes. So today I would actually suggest to make a bit of like an overall approach, because I mean, you know the track, but you don't know the car.
Yeah.
And you're sitting on the right, so maybe you're more used to the track when sitting on the left. So today will be more of a mix of me trying to see where Dan is driving on the track. Is he having issues with, sticking to the race line? Where is he maybe braking wrong or too early or turning in? And then also at the same time taking a look at the setup, like really basic from the beginning. What are the priorities? What should be like the first things you want to focus on? Because usually the recommendations from other streamers and coaches, or for example from people like Aris, for example, the popular developer who is streaming a lot himself, is like, you should not worry about the setup. You should actually practice and control the car and have a feeling for the car. But I always kind of like humbly disagree for a little bit, because in my own experience I found out that if you can improve the car and get a bit more comfortable in the car and just help that this enables you to push the car a bit more, there's no reason why you should not change one or two smaller things. And if that helps you to get faster, absolutely do it. But for sure, there is no reason for a beginner to go crazy with Motec and telemetry and dampeners and all the other crazy stuff. So we are going to leave that out for today and like really take the first and simple and basic approach.
Excellent. Yeah, so that's essentially what we're going to do. You'll notice a few new features. The big hole to my left now is now made up with hand cams. So we've got the wheel using, just to sort of let everyone know what equipment we're using the Logitech G29, like wheel and pedals. The only difference, obviously, you'll notice we've not got this big or this normal wheel. We've taken it off and replaced it with a lovely wheel mod from MVH Studios. We've got the McLaren one. And that's essentially the setup we've got. So you have got a camera over my shoulder, which you can see in the box you're in, which is on my hands, and also the light is above there. That's why it's massively glowing here. Otherwise you won't be able to see the wheel. So that's the setup we've got. Let's go over to the game stream. There we go. So you've got a bit of a better view. I'm going to move this camera down because this one wasn't set up properly for this bit. So we've got a bit of a better wheel view, and yeah. So I think the best.
That looks awesome.
There we go. So I think the best place to start is just. Well, I'll follow your lead.
The best way is actually first you look at what's the setting, what's the temperature. The track is only on fast.
Yeah.
So we are not on optimum. So that means we will definitely be struggling for grip. And the temperatures are pretty low when we are setting in. So we just start with the base aggressive preset. And first thing I would actually recommend you to do is not just load the setup and then go out on track, because the setup has a few quirks that I like to get rid of. One is just check the electronics tab, what the setting for ABS and traction control is. I would actually maybe tune down ABS to 3.
Let's try that.
And then we check fuel strategy, because the setup of course gives us 62 liters. So I always go to, you know, at least be able to do 6, 7 or 8 laps. So take like 30, 35, something like that, and change front and rear brake set to 1, because set number 2 is for endurance. And then we check mechanic grip is fine. We check the aero tab for the brake ducts, because we have so fresh temperatures right now. So that's just also a rule of thumb. If you have like below 20 degrees, you can definitely close down the front brake ducts to at least 3 and the rear brake ducts to 2. And you only open them up if it's really hot and you're struggling with tire temperatures. And that's actually it. So that's like the first thing I already adapt with every base aggressive preset that I do.
Awesome. We're going to save over this one just because I can't reach my keyboard now. So we're just going to save over this base one that I had set up before. So this is a brand new setup for this evening. So
usually you want to save every change you do with a different version number, so that it's easier to go back to a previous version of the setup when you find out it didn't work.
Okay, excellent. We'll have a little look. I'll see if I can grab my keyboard shortly. So let's get into the view. There we go.
Yeah, and now it's actually just get out on track, put in a few laps to get the tires on temperature, so that we are able to adjust tire pressures. That's the first and most important thing you want to do. And of course, just watching you to see what you are doing, and also how you what you feel the car is maybe not doing the way you want it to.
Yeah.
But now in the first 2-3 laps, it's actually just really to get in the groove and
chuck it into the wall.
Feeling.
Now this is the one issue we're gonna work to fix in the setup, because it's probably actually more my driving, because no matter what car I do make that same mistake every time, which is in the early days. Come out of what's that, turn 4, and yeah, pretty much put it in the wall. So when everything heats up a little bit more, it's a lot less. But I do it a lot less. But when everything fresh,
there are some issues you cannot get rid of, and that's the driver issues. You can only get rid of by practicing.
There's a lot of them, so notice a lot of them this evening. So let us know, guys. Obviously, if you are, while we're just getting these installations, if you've got any questions throughout the evening that either Stefan or myself can offer answers to, feel free to put them in the chat. I don't actually know if my chat's connected, but it may or may not be connected. But if you're there, just let us know.
I have the stream running and check what's going on.
But it's
so now, because of the track just being on fast and temperatures being very, very low, you just basically take it be careful in the first probably 2-3 laps, because the aggressive preset never gets the tire temperatures right. So we will have to do a lot of work there probably.
Yeah, there's a lot you'll come to notice is wrong with the more the driving style rather than the car, but
yeah. So one of the let's say key features of the Bentley is, that's why it's called Boatly. It's very heavy, but its suspension is very forgiving and actually pretty soft. So that's one of the reasons why you can actually just go over curbs, and the car, well, it depends on the curbs, but it does not unsettle as crazy as, for example, a McLaren, Ferrari or Lamborghini does.
Yeah. So I've done quite a lot of Kyalami in the Lexus as well, and so I know the track, but yeah, this is like, for me, it's we talked about it and we just decided that we'd go for, well, for me, for a completely new car. I've never driven the Bentley before, besides a couple of initial like setup laps or feeler laps for this stream. So I know the tracks. It wasn't like I had to learn the track and the car. We decided, because obviously it's how to set up a GT3 car, we'd do a track that we know, and obviously a track I'm going to be using on Sunday anyway, and just have a crack from there. I mean, initially there's a little bit of slip here and there.
Yeah, but I can see that happening out, especially out of the slower corners. You're power sliding quite a bit, but pressures are still not coming up right now. So Waterloo in the stream, yes, it's going to be recorded, I think, so you can watch it later on as well. And just flick through everything important. So the first important challenge with the Bentley is actually that you need to remember that you have more car on the left.
Yeah.
So you need to approach some of the turns where you should just touch the curbs maybe a little bit, which is mostly the left-handers, a bit differently. And sometimes it looks like you are turning in too late or too early, but that's just getting used to the car and to the turn-in by the different perspective of sitting on the right.
There we go. Now we can fix the tyre pressures.
Got some light damage on the front.
So that's one typical corner where you are actually having troubles with every car, but I think that's enough to adapt the tire pressures already. Awesome. So that's one thing we can do after the barely 3 laps right now. I saw them were just getting very low. So the few that you have here, yeah.
I'm going to just aim for them where it says PSI hot here. I think that is what I'm aiming to get that up to 27.5 for anyone that's not recognised.
Very low. Let me just. I'm actually just quickly jump on the stream to see.
So we're going to go for 15 degrees, and we've changed the tyres. So we go with nice easy file format, so we know what we've changed and how we've gone about changing it.
Yeah, that might become too confusing later on depending on how much you do. So what I always do when naming my setup files is I put in the track and air temperature. Okay. So that's my indicator for tire pressures.
Yeah.
Because, for example, a 10-degree difference is 5 clicks. So if it's 10 degrees hotter than usual, I decrease tire pressures by 5 clicks automatically. So that's one hint there, for example. So you adapted the tire pressures already. Okay. Yep. So seeing the massive power slide, we can already put in one slide change, and that having such massive power slides, I mean, of course, you could just turn up the traction control, but that would really slow you down.
Yeah.
So for the massive power slide, we have to look at the rear.
Okay.
And if you jump here in the mechanical grip section, usually you have actually 2 or 3 different choices. You could, for example, lower the rear suspension, make the rear a tiny bit softer, which is, for example, the wheel rate.
Okay.
So you can decrease the wheel rate both left and right just by 1 click. And that's it. So we are not gonna change anything else. We just adapted the tire pressures and see if that maybe helps for your feeling. Making the rear a tiny bit softer just gives the rear, when you look at the car from the side like this and you put on the throttle, it moves the weight to the rear, meaning the rear of the car squeezes in a bit more. But if the rear suspension is too hard, it just means that the car cannot compensate the amount of weight that you're putting on the rear, and therefore it starts losing the control. So that's why we try to make the rear a tiny bit softer to maybe put more of the traction. But yeah,
because that's my sort of go-to at the moment is, if I'm sliding, it's my traction control is too low, or so knowing that means I can obviously take that into some of the other cars and other setups and be like, I can have a look at that option instead.
Yes, exactly. One other thing is that really the way that you set up the track condition here is just another challenge on top, because everybody is just usually used to driving in optimum qualifying conditions. But I think it's actually a good idea to showcase that, because not every race and not every qualifying is in optimum conditions. So by setting up the car this way, you will actually have a better time when you have better grip.
Unintended setup, by the way, because it's meant to be optimum. I don't know why it's fast.
Yes. No worries. So, but interestingly, the turn you put it into the wall is actually a turn that is, I think, tricky for many drivers, because depending on the track and the turns, you don't want to coast through every corner, because usually it's like, braking into a corner, coast a little bit and accelerating out of it. But I found that Kyalami is a really special track in the terms that you don't really want your car to just coast, because you have no tension in the car to say. There are some corners where you want to brake into, and as soon as you release the brakes, just for a tiny bit, apply just a tiny bit of throttle to just rotate and stabilize the car out of the corner, and the one left-hander is actually the prime example for that.
So the issue I noticed with that one there, was that first corner.
So here is you brake in, you just touched. Yeah, that looked really good actually.
Yeah, so the issue I noticed on that one there was I forced it up the gear for turn 1 that I probably shouldn't have gone to, so it made it harder for me to get down into a gear that I was comfortable going around the first corner in. So next lap, we're going to try just staying in 5th, getting into that first corner.
Yeah.
Because getting up to 6th, it just wouldn't want to come back down.
No, you
again.
actually don't need 6th gear in Bentley at Kyalami.
Oh, awesome.
Not even on the straight. Barely need 6th gear with any car actually. You're on a good lap. Looks like feeling is already improving. Nice. That was also really good in line. Just losing a bit of delta. Maybe did you have any feeling of it sliding or?
No, not really. I think the line for the lap we've set was a bit more direct. That was felt a bit like it was out. Don't know why I've gone down again there. That's just pure idiocy. I mean, the delta's going up, but that's how Bala took it on the time lap, I think.
That was actually not really bad. You just upped your delta by doing unintentional downshift.
Nice.
And that's actually a massive increase of 1 point.
So
Just
far.
keep going one more lap to see how the tire pressures develop. In the first, yeah, looks good. In the first corner, you can actually stay a bit more to the right and use the curbs even a little bit and just turn it in a bit later.
Okay.
And that's the tricky
That was
key there. Yeah.
That was the slide of being on the loud pedal too early.
That's the prime example. Yeah, when you're on throttle a bit too early in this corner. And how does it feel braking into the fast right-hander there?
It feels okay.
So no unintended like oversteering or anything.
No, not as.
Okay.
I'd like to be a little bit tighter to the inside curb in that fast right-hander, but it didn't feel like uncomfortable, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you can also use the curbs on the right here in this section. Like
Oh, not that one.
No, that. You were looking to the right now, right?
Light damage
Yeah.
on the car.
How much have we got? No, it's fine.
Yeah, you can take it back to the pieces.
So this is what you'll see. Where it literally is, you'll know from ACCSS anyway. It's a rookie and mid-pack centric league. You're going to see lots of rookie mistakes this evening. Comes from driving a brand new car and a pretty brand new track for me. I mean, know it a little bit, but not enough to say that I understand it fully.
That's no problem at all. That's why we are here for. And but it's actually good to notice that the feeling already started to improve by just decreasing the rear wheel rate and just making it softer by just 1 click. So that's already one important thing to note down, that if you're having troubles with your rear sliding out at every corner, to soften up the rear suspension just a tiny bit.
Yeah.
And just let's the first important thing already check the tire pressures.
Okay, excellent. Let's go for that. Where I'm going to tabbed out for a second, and right, I'm back. Here we go. So set up tire pressures.
Because I think we definitely need to increase them again. So the left rear by 5 clicks, and the right rear by 3, and the right front actually by 1. Yeah, then we should be able to get there. Just stay there. Just stay there, and I want to look at the temperatures. So like for every tire you have the OMI or IMO, which actually tells you the temperatures of I is the inside, M the middle, O the outside, and that actually can be an indicator for the camber, meaning the angle of the tire. That, for example, the inside is getting a bit hotter or the outside is getting more hotter.
Okay.
So what we have here at the front is actually 64, 67, 70, which is a 3-degree difference from outside to inside, which the rule of thumb is actually around 2 degrees, but it's not very hot because the track conditions are so cold. So the rear looks actually fine because decreasing the camber, so like decreasing the angle of the tire to have more I just see that my camera is kind of stuck in your stream.
Oh, is it? Okay, 2670.
Oh yeah, now it's right. So because like when you're decreasing the angle from this one to this, it means that actually the patch of the tire rolling on the tarmac is increased, and that gives you more traction. So if you're still struggling with like power sliding out of corners, it might help to decrease the rear camber to give the tire a bit more grip to the tarmac. But as the temperatures looked really good, I would not change anything there. So, I mean, you have to tell me what was like the overall feeling for you. Was there still, where did you have issues with the car?
I think obviously that gear shift was the one I noticed, and then I think it was more just understanding the limits of the car, if that makes sense for me. Like, obviously with this being a new car for me, I don't know, like with obviously where I've driven the Lexus, the Aston before, I kind of know the limits of where to push it. But I mean, initially it feels very stable just off the bat, which is, I think, like you were saying before in when we were building up to the stream, is actually the aggressive setup for the Aston is not the Aston, the Bentley, sorry, is actually pretty solid. So maybe what we'll do is, if it feels, we'll get a couple of laps in under our belt, and then maybe what we'll do is we'll look to have a little fiddle with some of the settings, and we can show the guys on stream and on the recording later to go up on YouTube what it looks like when the setup isn't so safe coming out of the box essentially.
I found out that, I mean, I was mainly using the Mercedes, and while switching to the Bentley, I found out that on most tracks the aggressive preset is pretty smooth. It's more often tending to be understeery, or like the body roll might be a bit too much, meaning like the weight moving forward or backward or from left to right, because of the suspension being a bit softer. Yeah. So there are some tracks where the Bentley feels really heavy. Yeah. But there are also tracks like Kyalami where the Bentley just feels planted and really, really smooth, and where you can actually have a really cool time to just fine-tune it a little bit to your personal taste, because there are drivers out there of you who either like a car to be more on the oversteering side.
That's like that is
touch the curb. So yeah, let's immediately restart again.
We need to be able to set nice consistent laps here. Literally, I can literally hear Stefan's thoughts of, I'd love Dan to put a couple of laps in so we can start to find the problem.
Yeah, that's nothing that the setup can solve. Focus, come on.
It's literally like the Mazzano, was it the SimGrid qualifying we did? It was just like, there wasn't really too much, it was just more, come on, get your head down.
Yeah, exactly. So where was I? Yeah, for example, so there are drivers out there who prefer a car to be more a bit on the oversteering side, and then there are drivers who like it a bit more understeering. Okay. So depending on what you like with the setup, you can help to support your driving style. Yeah. And that's where we want to go. But more importantly right now for you is really to put in at least 5 or 6 laps and try every lap to like really try and push the car a little bit. Yeah. Not like pushing it into the wall, but hey Shane Smith in the chat, how are you doing? Thanks for joining in. If there are any questions, anything you want to know, just put it in the chat. I'll do my best to throw out an answer to that. So as we focus this all around more towards beginner's perspective, yes, the more important thing before you mess with the setup is find a car that you really like. And by that I don't mean like, yeah, you like kind of because it's a cool brand or it looks cool, but more importantly that feels good to you. So there are people who prefer front engine cars like Bentley, like BMW, like the Aston Martin, for example, but the style changes with like rear mid-engine cars like the Lamborghini or the Ferrari or the McLaren. So find a car that feels good to you, and if you kind of find a car, a really good track to practice that actually is either for example Barcelona or Nürburgring. Both are like really good tracks with different sections that are faster or slower, where you need to brake harder and turn in faster. And I would recommend trying out as many cars as you like on either of the tracks, and pick the one that feels really natural to you, where you think like, oh cool, the car feels good, and then you take the car and try it on other tracks. And you always do that by using the base aggressive setup. And once you then settled on a car, we are at the point where you then want to take it a step further, and then means start practicing different laps on different tracks, and start pushing the car and trying to get faster and especially get more consistent. And then we are at a point where we can actually say, okay, I'm now have a race coming up at Kyalami and I really want to be faster, and I can notice that the car is doing some things that that I don't like and that I would like to improve, and then we get at the side of the setup to just adapt some minor things.
So what I've started to notice, obviously being on where I'm so used to the left-handers and or the left-handed drive cars, is the corner before, is it Crocodile, the one with the big sausage on it, the last corner, or the second to last corner, yeah. That corner there, obviously I'm taking so much wider than I probably need to, because in the first lap, in the second lap I was like, right, if I can cut that closer to the curb, then that's going to find me a little bit of time.
And that's a corner that some cars can take without braking, but I found in the Bentley it's tricky, so I always just give the brake a little nudge and turn in the car, and then immediately go slightly on the throttle to rotate the car through it. So use the track here, right? And then here you want to touch the inside curbs a tiny bit and then straighten the car and push full out. Yeah, nice. And then here it's again just a little nudge, touch the curbs on the left and take... That was a bit too much, yeah. So you want to use both curbs, left and right, and that's one of the tricky sections where you also do not want to coast, and where you just keep playing with the throttle actually to rotate the car and stabilize it. And this section is tricky because you want to get on throttle as early as possible to have as much speed downhill, but if you do it too early, you just slide out of it. And here you want to stick more to the left. You are way too much on the right while braking. Okay. Use the track there, and then just nudge the brakes, throw it in. That was nice. That was nice. The delta is growing. For me, the last turn in the Bentley feels a bit tricky because you always have the feeling that when sitting on the right, you're drifting out of the corner.
Well done, mate. Personal fastest
so that requires a bit of practice, but you are already close to the 144s.
Okay, I feel like I am doing that. That's something we need to look at, because I feel like I'm doing that corner completely wrong.
But you gained 4 tenths now.
If it feels like the car comes... there you go, that's fine. I learned from it. I put my brake on this time instead of just putting it into that one.
Try to not push the throttle as hard as early, but you gently and progressively out of this corner. Just not like brake in and then smash it, but like brake in, just apply a little bit of throttle, and once you hit the curbs or are over the curbs, apply it progressively. So like moving your leg down and not just flooring it, you know. And here onto the right, you can cut a bit more and then just floor it. Yeah. Stick to the right and then... You can brake a bit later. That was way too early on turn in, because you braked a bit too early. And then here you just cut through the left and then keep the car on the left. Yeah.
Okay, I can get used to that for the next lap.
Yeah.
That's
so
more,
you basically want, this is a very, very late apex, and then you turn it in late, but cut the inside to be able to accelerate very early out of the corner. Overall, important is like
Losing time in sector 1.
anything that feels weird to you, or any section where you like have the impression that your car is not doing what it should do.
See, here it feels like it's coming to a complete stop under the, under braking. I know it's not, obviously, because it's still moving, but it feels like it's like.
And now be careful. Much better. But bit too late on turning, but way cleaner.
And I feel like the last corner as well. I'm not too sure what gear would you do the last corner in?
Like last left turn.
Yeah.
First gear. It's tricky, but it felt more comfortable, and flick it to the right. You can cut a bit more on the right there.
Okay. That comes more with trust in the car, I think, because I know I kind of wanted to, but.
Okay, and throttle. You have to be very careful with the steering out of that section. When you apply the throttle, you actually want to straighten the steering more, and when you feel that the car is having grip, you just slightly turn in the steering wheel to the left to just like. It's a tricky balance to like keep the car from power oversteering like you did just now.
Yeah.
I mean, we can increase front tire pressures by 1 click on the right, and 2 click on the right and 1 on the left.
So save that so it's done.
But I mean, other than that,
it's more the driving than it is the setup.
Yes. I mean, I need to get. I mean, I know from my own experience on Kyalami what I changed on my Bentley, but I mean, I can suggest you one more change to maybe ease the power oversteering, for example. To let me just check. Is it at what is the preload? Is at 70 right now, I think, right?
Where is that? Where am I?
Mechanical.
Yeah, 70.
I mean, we softened it up. The only thing we can do is like, for example, decrease it by 1 click to 60.
Okay.
But that might help you with that. The question is just with the Bentley overall being so soft and the preload being a bit higher than with other cars, that might do something or not do something at all. So
well, that's right. We can have a look at anything. If it's the driving that's more the issue than the setup, which I think it might be, we can always turn this into a how to drive Kyalami in the Bentley, so we can talk more about my actual dodgy driving style.
Yeah, I actually have a video around that.
Oh, right, so there you go then, see? So we can...
But yeah, right now is try to really feel what the car is doing. For example, if you have the feeling that it's too heavy in a corner, or you have the feeling that, for example, you don't need 5th gear here. You can approach the corner in 4th gear and then just gently touch the brakes. This one is 2nd gear, yes, and push it. Then you cut just a little bit. That was a bit too much. And then yes, cut to the right and immediately floor it, yeah. So that's like that.
Yeah.
That was actually spot on brake marker there. So for me, uphill, the brake marker is always the little house with
that's what I've been using, the little hut.
With the flag guy. So as soon as he approaches the left hand of your screen, the moment he vanishes, you're actually on the brakes. It's like my brake marker there always. then try to get as close as possible to the sausage.
Okay, I think I fixed the problem around that corner then. Is I was getting into fourth out of cheetah into there, which I don't really need to do in this car.
If you have more speed towards cheetah, you need it shortly, unfortunately, because of the Bentley having such a short ref limiter range. The more speed and the more, the faster you get through the sausage corner through cheetah, you definitely need you need to shift into the fourth gear for like just a tiny amount, because otherwise you would have ref limiter.
Yeah.
But we are not there right now. So the balance here, stick to the right and then throttle, 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 throttle. Yeah.
So there's a little bit of slide through that right-hander.
Okay. Was it after braking?
Yeah,
or
so
when
it was on power, like towards middle of the corner.
That was nice. You're gaining nice. Now focus on the braking again here. Tiny bit too early.
A little bit too early, yeah.
And now careful on power. Yeah, you're losing a lot of speed.
I was so hesitant to put my foot on put my right foot down.
Yeah, I could see that now. You were hesitating a lot, so. That was good. And now get close to the cheetah.
I can get closer.
Yeah, you can definitely get closer. Good corner exit out of the last corner. Did you use first gear now? Yes.
Yeah, for the last corner it was first, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of slip there, but I think that was me going on the power too early again.
This looks fine. You're 6/10 up. Keep up the focus.
Try not to trigger. I'm just trying not to trigger that slip that I did in the last lap.
Perfect. And floor it. You are on an absolutely good lap right now.
Till I done that.
You destroyed it. Did you brake there or not?
No, I tapped the brake a little bit, but that's more the left hand right hand indifferences. That's the angle I'd take in a left hand drive car, because I've not got that much of the car left to play with, if that makes sense.
Yeah. But until then it looked absolutely epic. That would have been a low 44 time. That was too late.
Okay.
So
fine.
overall, your feeling is improving. I can see that.
Yeah.
It's just okay. We might have a bit too much, because the tricky sections are these where you kind of have the direction changes in direction, and that's when the car feels like it's moving too much to you. Does that sound about right?
Yeah. I need more. I need to nail that corner more to be more confident in it as well. I hit that wall too many times.
So does it feel more like it's understeering or oversteering?
It feels more oversteery than I'd like, especially in that first, first section, that first 3 or 4 turns.
Okay. That's interesting, because to me it was actually quite the opposite.
Oh, really? That's too early on the brakes.
So I think we can play with probably the rear camber a bit to give you more traction.
It's a rub, yep.
Welcome to the community, Lima Tango Echo. Lima Tango Echo. Because I'm just
Brother mate, this is me,
looking
your personal
right
best.
now. The base aggressive setup. The roll bars on the base aggressive setup are pretty low already. So maybe for you it might be an idea to increase that to make the car a bit more stiffer in terms of weight transfer. Because one other thing is we can also play with the anti-roll bars if you still have the feeling that out of corners you're losing control.
Okay.
Because what the anti-roll bars basically do is they stiffen the whole car and limit the movement of the body.
Okay.
And hello Lima Tango Echo, welcome to the stream, thanks for joining in. Keep the focus, mate. Look at... yeah. Nice. You can still get closer there. So it's just about finding the turning point and floor it. You can, out of the last corner, you can straighten the car a tiny bit earlier and then look where you're going, but other than that, 144.3. So that was a really massive improvement there.
It was that last sector on the first sector felt, or the first two sectors felt okay. Into the chicane a little bit, felt a little. That was more me hitting that curve on the left again, where it's the. Oh, that was a slide.
But what does the car feel like in the last sector? Is it like...
I don't know, I've gone down again. That's more muscle memory in the Lexus than anything that is.
Oh, hey, it's Lucas, Lima Tango Echo. So weird to see me on ACCSS Twitch. Don't worry, I'll be back on my own channel.
People can actually drive on his channel, Lucas, it's fun.
Well, sometimes I even can't, so...
Right, so let's have a little look. So that's my braking that's cocking that one up.
Yeah, and you be careful just with the steering, yeah. There's actually so much you can do here with the steering. Then use the 100-meter board as your brake marker on the left. And stick more to the left.
Okay.
To turn in late. But that was, see, perfect. Much better. And then you can floor it much earlier out of the corner. And then closer. Turn in earlier. No, still too late.
Yeah.
Come on, do it!
Just gotta be better, Dan. That's all it is. There's nothing wrong with the setup.
Do I have to take out the Terminator?
Losing time in sector 2.
But tire pressures are looking okay-ish. Can even maybe... Tire temperatures are not, so we might even...
Oh, yeah.
You're turning in a bit too hard there. The moment you are at the apex and apply throttle, start straightening the car. There was way too much turning into the first corner. Which is interesting, actually the second corner, because the kink is the first corner on the straight. Which is kind of fun that you call the little kink a corner. It's actually called the kink.
It's like when F1 goes round Red Bull Ring. Yeah, that's not a corner, it's effectively 3 corners, Red Bull Ring, in a Formula 1 car.
yeah, exactly. It's just flat. Flat straight.
Okay, that's...
Yeah, you were full throttle and you should actually, when turning it right, you want to lift the throttle a bit to rotate the car. And I just saw that you were just full on flat. And that didn't work out.
I was like, the lap's already gone. Let's see how far we can push it into there.
Yeah.
Right, so to stay more left, use the 100-meter board. Here we go.
Yeah, the tire temperatures look a bit off because actually we have very cold temperatures. And the outside temperatures might be due to the camber, right? So that was actually on my list right now for the next pit stop, but it's really important for Dan to get a bit of a better feeling for the car. But very well spotted, Lucas. But that's usually when you're not used to driving in temperatures like that, because most of the time we drive at like what, 25 to 35 degrees, optimum grip, blah blah blah. So it's really interesting, and I think very, very important for people out there to not only practice in perfect conditions. You want to practice in various conditions, because races are never under perfect conditions, or rarely.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like with the Endurance Cup, as we saw on the stream on Sunday, is the conditions are from mild to very extreme, and the thing that was different for all our drivers from the Championship Series into the Endurance Series is we also have these differing start times. So the race on Sunday around here and the practice server that we're on is set for a 5:30 AM race start time, I think it is. So like literally everyone's going to be in the same boat with this tyre temperature issue.
I mean, at Suzuka they even had, I think, free practice in the dry, and qualifying was in wet and race in full wet. So
yeah, that was an eye-opening experience. Yamato, our weatherman, just really shafted us there with that weather report. And the worst part was, seeing as I am effectively Yamato, I didn't even know that was coming, and I was not prepared for it. What we saw on Sunday.
So that looked actually smoother, but yeah, not quick.
I don't know why I keep having this like instinct to go up a gear in between Crocodile and the last corner. Like, I have no need to do it. I don't hit. I'm nowhere near the limiter. It's just.
Oh yeah, Lucas, that's right. It's actually really cool to have people to bounce around ideas, and that makes the whole setup stuff so much more exciting actually. Because people have different approaches, because their driving styles are different. But right now, it's really just for me the importance to get Dan develop his feeling for the Bentley before we change too much. But yeah, I think I've just tried to push a bit again in this lap and take it into the pits then.
We've also lost connection to the server. The really good advert for our. So after this lap, we'll reset the. We'll reset the server actually, because I'll see if we can get it into optimum conditions. So we'll swap scenes. We'll have a little chat, and we'll. I'll have a little play around with the server quickly on the back end, see if we can get it up to optimum. Optimistic is my driving style.
That's a new preset coming with the new DLC, you know, next week. It's the optimistic preset.
The optimistic preset, yeah.
But you have a 50-50 chance that the corner is either going well or not. When you throw it, when you just send it, you know. That was good. You can lose a lot. You can use a lot of the track there on the left, actually. The whole tarmac and stuff next to the track. It's just. But it would be interesting if you change it to more ideal settings. You will immediately notice the difference.
Yeah. Right, let's have a. Let's swap back to this one.
So we have time for some stuff. For questions in chat.
Yep, you can have a chat away with chat, and I'm going to have a quick play around.
Optimistic preset.
Okay, I'm going to see if we can get that optimistic preset on the server. Let's have a little look.
We watch Dan playing the server magic.
I think it's key. I think there's a setting on the server map. Fixed condition qualifying. Let's turn that to 1. That should give us our optimum server conditions. I think it's that server. Let's hope it's that server and not the Brands Hatch qualifying server they're all racing on.
Yeah.
Alright, that's fine. Let's go out here. So while we've got a little intermission, talk to me about Monday night. We can cut this bit out of the YouTube video. Talk to me about Monday night. It's 1-1. Is that how it finished in the end?
What? I'm sorry. Say again.
Talk to me about Monday night and the evaluation with not the evaluation race with Serenity. Did that finish 1-1? Did it not?
Yeah, there wasn't really much tension there because I think she had a moment in the first race, and I had a moment in the second race. So we unfortunately were not really close. We were just close at the start because she was right next to me.
Okay.
And I had a really brilliant first race with the guys with like Strasser and Jason, and they actually then had contact, and I was moving from 8th to 6th. So the evaluation race was really cool. And then in the second race, Jason basically took me out.
Go.
he was like thinking, nah, I'm not messing with the guy. I'll just get rid of him right now at the start.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Nah.
That's
I was a bit unfortunate on a pretty stupid line because I was thinking that there was a Bentley, I think was Strasser in front of me. I was avoiding him, and then I was avoiding Serenity, and I was on a very wrong line and not on throttle, and I think Jason just thought or was kind of like looking somewhere else, and yeah, just an unfortunate race incident, so no hard feelings at all. But I was so happy that at least one race worked out, because in the evaluation for season 2 I got absolutely demolished in both races. No chance to even really do any evaluation, but yeah, so I was really happy that you actually checked in, or like Steve was checking in with me saying like, hey, what's going on? You're so bad.
Are you okay?
Yeah, is everything all right? And yeah, so I mean, if you look at the qualifying and like lap times, you see where I am, but yeah, regarding the positions, it was just unlucky. Yeah. But the first race was cool.
It happens. I mean, this week I've done just because obviously we've inflated the evaluation races, the evaluation race numbers, so we've got more races going on.
Yeah, but
it means
I saw that not all of them are like booked right now, so people there still.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I've done I think the 7 o'clock and 8 o'clock race on both nights. So I've done 8 Brands Hatch races, and they have that mixtures of all sorts. I had a really good race yesterday. Then just got to the point I think I was just overdriving it because we were doing Silverstone practice for the Endurance Cup round 2 and Brands Hatch practice and a little dabble on Kyalami just to get used to everything. And then I was like, oh, now I'm going to go and do 4 evaluation races, and the last one was a bit of a push, and like being from P4 and just putting it in the wall.
Yeah. So Lucas is asking what is your sim hardware? I think you're running on the Logitech G29, right?
Yes, we've got the Logitech G29, which is here, and then we've got a wheel mod. So this is the normal wheel. Let's have on the old wheel cam. This is the normal wheel that comes with the Logitech G29. I replaced it with an MVH Studios wheel, which is just a GT steering wheel. Basically, you take the pins off in the middle and unplug it and put it back in. And it comes with these little buttons as well to replace the L buttons. We're in a Next Level Racing FGT Lite, like the deck chair rig essentially. We've got, essentially that's it. Oh, and my Phil.gg gloves as well. That's about it essentially. And of course the ACCSS Your Band t-shirt, which is too small for my massive stomach. But that's basically where we're at on the hardware side of things.
Awesome.
Let's go back to the game.
Angel of Awe is posting that he'll trade you half a second of lap time in exchange for the gear. But then Dan cannot finish any lap time if he gives you his gear.
Well, I mean, this is the second day in this rig. So before this, you can see the desk in the wheel cam. If we go like this a little bit, excuse the mess, that's the desk we work off of. And the monitors spin round to work from there when we do the full like stream broadcast, like the full broadcast. And then when obviously you're racing, I just tilt these 2 monitors round, and then we've got the stream on the top one and the chat that I can see, and then obviously the game underneath. Right,
I do something similar. I have to move because we basically use my gaming home office setup. I'm moving my first screen around as well. So there might be temperature difference, right?
There is 2 degrees. It's 2 degrees cooler, but it's not optimum.
So we might be fine. And is it now optimum?
No, it's not. I couldn't work out how to do it. We have like one of our old serve manager, who's not been around too much. He had a way of getting the practice servers onto optimum, and he did send me that. But I'm pretty sure I copy and pasted it, but I don't know why it's not optimum.
Okay. Wow.
And yes, Shane, there's a little clip just here. It's just off camera, and you flick it out, and
cool.
The bar comes out essentially, or the bar rotates round.
Otherwise, you just drop out of the rig like.
See, I had that. See, I built one. But I think it said to you or something like the other day. I built one, and there was no way of getting in and out of it. So I was like, yeah, it only cost like £15 to build. Like, it was literally like I just saw a YouTube video how to build your own sim rig. Couldn't afford one of these like £200-300 rigs, but was really not enjoying sitting at my desk like racing. So
I mean, for just trying it out,
yeah, exactly.
I think that's a really good idea before you spend like me hundreds and hundreds of euro.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it worked out. So vacation is cancelled, but hey, I can go sim racing. Well, it's locked down anyway, so who cares? Money well spent.
Yeah, so
sure, Angel, just dropped in, why not?
Yeah, we are on the ACCSS practice server. Anyone in the chat wants to join and just have a drive round. If I smash into it, it's your own fault. That's your disclaimer.
Angel of War just said he's keeping out of your way.
That's the opposite. He's keeping out of my way, but will I keep out of his way? It's probably after the last hour of my driving is very optimistic to think that will happen.
So yeah, I think we will definitely need to increase. Is it morning or is it evening?
It's 5 AM.
It's 5 AM. Yeah.
That is when the race is going to start. So we need.
Who the hell drives at a time like that?
Well, that's when it looks nice. That's when all you photographers and video editors tell me it looks nice. And literally all the race times are all for when they're not optimum. They're all for when the track looks its nicest. So
I mean,
got Suzuka at night on last Sunday.
Dawn is actually around 7 AM on Kyalami.
Oh, okay. We can always move that down. Ooh.
No, it's not important. Just focus on your driving.
And
focus.
I'm sorry.
It's the Rock. The Rock is speaking here. Focus. So because we need to at the next stop to do like 2-3 more laps and try to get tires and temperature, because then we are gonna change a bit.
Yeah, that's why I just jumped in and jumped out onto the track.
But just push for 2-3 laps to get the tires and temperature. So we have our next guest host. My cat is also saying hello. At least her tail is saying hello. It's always just her tail doing the helicopter, you know.
So I've got.
Yesterday she just put her butt into camera.
So we are rocking the Boonatix skin as well on the car.
Yeah, the special Kyalami flag livery, which was a pain in the butt to do, but it looks really cool.
And actually today, with a few of the ACCSS members, we following a disappointing custom livery race on Sunday, we looked at actually what went wrong. And we have fixed it, and we will be having custom liveries in SEC and in Season 3 of the Championship Series. So we will be having custom liveries. There's going to be a few hoops to jump through, but they will be there.
Awesome, but it's basically participants don't have to download them. They just
no, so they won't be. So the participants won't even be receiving them. It will go for the. It's a bit like the SimGrid way of doing. You know what the SimGrid way is anyway, where you send them to the broadcast, and we will send you. And when you load into the game, you need to unfortunately change your PNG names not so that we don't get the server lag, and the volume of cars on the server meant a few drivers got disconnected on Sunday because of the amount we had 42 out of 50 of our cars had custom liveries, and some people decided to install them anyway, even on their toaster PCs. So we're gonna be doing a little bit of the trickery with the that was.
Yeah, too much talking, you know.
Yeah, so I'm also trying to stream at the same time, so might as well give them some season. Every stream we've done the past week, we've drip fed a little bit of season 3 information out there.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. Shane is saying that Suzuka looks nice at night, but in the race on Sunday you couldn't really see that. Yeah.
Look, I believed every word that our weatherman Yamato told us, and I was tricked as much as the next guy.
I actually enjoyed it as a spectator because I could just fly around on track and then the rain is not really disturbing your view.
I enjoyed it as a driver. As soon as I realised that, and here's a little trick for you as well, that if you get that sort of track condition again, if you drive in bonnet cam or even just it's always good to find a second camera angle you can drive through besides your primary one, because bonnet cam you can see so much more with the visibility in bonnet cam than you could in cockpit.
You can't talk like that because it's like that's not simulating, like that's not realistic anymore. You're cheating.
Well, it's either that or I send it into the back of 20 GT4s and probably the rest of the other 30 GT3s.
So you're on a flyer right now, focus, while the sun is coming up. It looks glorious. So the sun is actually 6 AM, like between 5 and 6 AM on this track, right? Yes, yes. Take the cheetah as close as possible. That was just the coach squeal.
Oh, I missed the gear. It was there.
2.5 seconds.
Well done, mate. Personal fastest lap.
You already are at the previous time, 1:44.3, and the high pressures need a tiny bit of increase, but temperature is low. So that's something we need to sort out. Flint is asking, is the game hard? Like with what? With Call of Duty?
In answer to is the game hard, I would say if you've got it's very easy to pick up and drive because they especially we were talking earlier about the default aggressive for the Bentley essentially, or for a lot of the cars, but the Bentley definitely, as I've noticed this evening, it's actually very user friendly. I'm just going to shut up for a sec because I've just looked at my Delta. So I'll let you take over the answer to that, Stefan.
Yeah, the game is easy to pick up and easy to learn, but very, very hard to master. But Bentley is not hard. You're on the wrong side. He's on the dark side. Come to the dark side. We have cookies. I kind of like it that the Bentley is on the right side and that I think it's the only car in game. So.
The Jeanette is on the right side as well.
Oh really?
Yep. According to Adam, who's one of our drivers in our community, he's like, yeah, the Jeanette is on the right hand side of the car as well.
You're flying. You are flying, mate. Awesome. Nice exit, you're gaining Delta, awesome.
Well done, mate. Personal best.
You're already in the 43.5s now.
Let's go.
Brilliant. I can see that you're feeling more confident
in the car, yeah, I can.
And you're also starting to brake later into the corners, so yeah.
Oh, that's the cock up. It was going too well.
That was the classic, so let's
go back and have a look at actually how to set a car up.
Yeah. So we are trying to solve the power sliding, which I think is nearly gone, but as we look at the tire temperature, so that's an issue for you when you're driving on a colder track, and I think now is really a good time to toy with the camber, because we can see that the inside from the IMO is just really, really cool, especially on the left side. So
Yep.
I would actually suggest, I mean, how much do we want to change it?
Well, you may have asked this, but because I've been concentrating on driving, I've not heard it. What does the camber do?
The camber is meaning it controls the angle of the tire in like relation to the tarmac.
Okay.
So like usually the angle is, the tire is never straight.
Yep.
Well, mostly on road cars, but not even that for like the higher class cars. So the tire always has an angle, and that's called camber.
Okay.
And that always means that the inside of the tire has more grip and heats up more.
Yep.
And what we then want to do is, like, for example, in the rear tires, when we notice we have troubles with grip, we are power sliding out of every corner and the outside is not gaining enough temperature, we just decrease the camber from negative, which is like this, to a more positive camber.
Okay.
So getting the tire to have more grip on the middle and outside. So I would actually, for the front, I would suggest to decrease the camber. That's tough, actually, by a lot. I would put it down to like 4.3.
Okay. On both?
Yeah. Let's just see what that does, because we can always get back to that. And for no, we're not done.
Okay, I'm going back.
And for the rear, I would just put it down to a flat 3.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we are going to jump to the mechanical grip tab again. And decrease the preload to like, put the preload to like 40. Just want to test if that helps again to unlock the tires. And you said, well, it didn't look like it was oversteering. So let's just keep it like that and see if we can give you more traction out of the corners and help with tire temperatures a bit more.
So, Flynn has asked in chat while we're doing that. No Motec.
No, we are not using Motec. No. That's like beginner-focused workshop, and we don't. Even I'm not really messing with Motec.
So a friend, I say a friend, he'll take that to the bank and clip it. A friend of mine in the community said that actually you won't really need Motec until you get to the points where you're going to be looking to gain tenths over half a second or a second instead. So at the moment we're still on looking at finding half a second.
I had discussions like that over and over, and of course there are people out there who come from maybe a car background or race background, and they jump into the game and they immediately start to use Motec because they know it and they kind of worked with it, or they understand it easier. But for beginners who just started with racing simulation, there is I mean, if you really want to get into it, just get into it. I'm not saying no, you're forbidden, you shouldn't mess with Motec, but there is so much other stuff that you can do, and mostly it's around learning the track, learning your car, learning to understand what your car does, and then based on this feeling do a few tweaks like we are doing now in the stream to increase and improve the feeling of your car. And there's so much more time until you get into Motec.
Yeah, so like literally, I have like race sim tools. Like on this, like I am part of. Like, I've got race sim tools on here, and I was like, but I don't really ever use it. So.
Hey, Retrograde, nice to see you in the stream. I think the monitor is not very big, right?
It's 24 inches. The monitor I'm racing on. The webcams are relatively cheap and fisheye, so I noticed earlier because the camera was over my right shoulder, only turned up today because we never normally have two cameras. We normally have this, the front-facing one for the stream.
Yeah, Flint, it's a smaller monitor, but it's okay as long as you can see where you're going. It's fine. And thanks for following, Flint. So, I'm not curious if you feel a difference in terms of acceleration out of corners.
I need to get that confidence back in the tyres a little bit, in that first sector anyway. Then I feel like it feels fine. I think that the outlap I noticed a lot more grip, like in the first like 4 or 5 corners.
An interesting thing is now, because you say outlap, is usually we try, or usually the pro drivers try to set up a car for either later stages or for more grippier conditions. So meaning sometimes it can really be that the car feels totally weird in the first 2, 3, 4 laps, and you have to be really careful. And then as soon as it starts to grip up, it feels better. But it can always also be the other way around. For example, I had it with some cars that it felt really cool on the out lap and then the first 1, 2 laps. And when it started to heat up and get grip, it was absolutely understeering and heavy to control the car, which means, okay, there's something wrong with the setup.
Yeah, we have this running joke in my, like, I say driving team, but some of my mates that the out lap always feels like the best lap you'll ever do in any race ever. Because this doesn't count for anything. But literally, like, you take every corner perfect, you hit every line, every break point. It doesn't actually count for anything.
Except in the rain. Outlaps in the rain are horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, retrograde, exactly. It's not the size, it's how you use it in terms of the monitor.
There's a little bit more grip if I'm a bit gentler on the throttle out of 2. We're saying 2 as in including the kink. So the first, effectively corner 1, I was calling 2 there.
first sector, yeah, you're picking up a bit of speed. Try to really push it now here, yeah. It looks really planted actually now. I see no sliding, nothing actually. You already 4 tenths up. Now to the right and push, 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 push. Nice. Get a good braking point.
That was awful.
Yes, it was. Too much to the middle while braking and too early on turn-in. No, it's not a play seat challenge, or what's your seat?
Next level racing FGT Light.
There you have it, Flint.
It was a gift from the old boss man at ACC Sprint Series before he moved on to working with race department.
Oh, cool.
So he was had one going, and he was like, "I'm not going to use it. Do you want it?" I was like, "Yeah, sure," because I can't afford a sim rig, so it'll do.
Yeah, you are definitely much more. You look much more comfortable into the first 3 corner section, and then yeah, you could have used more of the track, and then now try to really push it through the right hander, get close to the inside, and then
that was the I lifted because the rear end went. I felt that in the
on braking.
No, on power. So as you said, you need to like get your foot down. I put my foot down, and the back left, there, both back tyres. Sorry, just went from underneath the car. Hence the lift.
The temperatures of the tyres are looking better right now. Hey Recon, thank you very much. It's going great. We are trying to push Dan into alien times, but he's not making it easy for me.
Hey, we've gained 3.5 seconds in an hour and a half.
Yeah. We got him down from 46s into the 43.5s, and if he would just focus for a lap, he could even do a 42.
Not like that, I can't. That was awful.
I just love when the sun is coming up. It's insane.
Looks nice driving into it.
Jason is also here, Mr. Pantarino. No, just kidding, Jason. It's going really great. Thanks for joining, man. Chiron Point, hi, how are you doing? Some action is coming in the chat also. Always takes a while.
Okay, that was... The rear end just completely lost it around there.
Under acceleration?
Under acceleration, yeah.
That shouldn't happen, that's strange.
I'll have a look at the replay after on that one, because I don't know, I think that may have been me, but
Yeah, I
I've
think
never felt it feel like that before. That was the front end. That was understeer.
Yeah, definitely was. Recon, yeah, Dan might be soon in Pro Split if he keeps up like that. Yeah, we might lower the anti-roll bar in the rear, but I'm still trying to comprehend what's happening, because I think right now most of it is actually Dan trying to get a feeling for the car, and the rear anti-roll bar is already on 2. But we might try it with 1, but usually the body roll of the Bentley is just... The weight of the Bentley is just a bit too much, so that I actually don't really want to soften it too much, but let's use Dan as our guinea pig and just try it.
Yeah, so I mean we can fiddle around with stuff. Like, we've realised that actually how to set up a GT3 car is not the aim of this stream now. It's how teach Dan how to drive.
All boats roll, exactly, user error. So I would even opt into, because the anti-roll bar in the front is on 4, we could soften that one up, because that can also help with understeer. Yeah, that was too much turning. If you're pushing the throttle so hard, you need to straighten the car a bit more.
Okay.
Like that, exactly. See?
Yeah.
You just opened up the steering a bit more, and that helps the car get grip. And push. Okay. And that's the same thing here. That was a tiny bit too much straightening. Cut a bit to left, cut a bit to right. And floor it. You can even floor it earlier,
okay.
Out of the right hander. And keep to the right, brake. Okay. Oh, Jason is getting bashed around a bit in the evaluation races as well. Have you participated in another round of evaluation races, Jason? And congratulations by Recon to you, Dan, for getting P4 in the endurance race.
Yeah, it was great fun. It's weird, I'm unfortunately of the opinion I actually really enjoy wet races. It's more because everyone else sits there complaining about them and I just sit there and drive them and just deal with the situation that's in front of me.
You actually just did a really good cut of cheater and dived really well into T1, and then you were a bit too much turning on the out.
Okay.
On the exit. But you were now, cheater was really good. Try to remember that.
Oh, that's too deep.
Nearly there. Three hours of storm in the middle of 24-hour spa race. That sounds like fun. Looking good. Push, 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 push. Turning is a bit too early here into this corner. Try later turning so that you can straighten the car early out of the corner.
Okay.
Or more to the left here. So that you can brake into the corner. See, that's how far track limits go there.
Yeah.
On the start of turn 4 you can use more of the track. Is the feedback in chat, turn 4. So actually turn 4, turn 1 is actually this one now, the king.
Yeah.
Then we have turn 2. Black Pet, which is paying attention, very good. Yeah, turn 3 and now into turn 4 then. Left-hander here, you can use more on the track on the right when accelerating out. Not like this. Yeah, Angel is just writing on the one hand, you're fortunate because there's so much room for improvement when you get better feeling with the car.
Please try to stay on the track.
Yeah, so right now it's actually not so much about the setup, but if it helps Dan with the confidence in the car, that's what we are trying to achieve right now.
Yeah, exactly. That's why we noticed early that it wasn't going to be a how to set up a car. Maybe next time we'll do that. We'll do a car that I actually know how to drive on a track I know how to drive. This is more of a just get used to more of a track guide and a
track guide with a car guide and a little bit of setup tips.
Yeah.
So what we actually, because just to sum it up right now, what we noticed in the beginning was Dan just having massive power slides out of corners, and it was actually the same for me when I tried the Bentley on Kyalami. So we softened the rear wheel rate by just 1 click and also decreased the differential preload, and are now also decreased the rear tire camber to have more grip. And actually we nearly got rid of it to a point where it's just when Dan just floors it on the apex that the car loses the grip.
Losing time in sector 3.
We are looking good. Tire pressure is looking good. Tire temperature is still a bit cold, but I think that's just we don't want to close the brake ducts even more. So it's just because it's such a cold air right now. More throttle, less braking is faster lap times. Yeah, it's just like that. I have a feeling that you can carry more speed to this through this turn.
This one?
Yeah, no, the left-hander. And this one as well, yeah. Just you need to get closer to the inside curves. That was too close. It's like because on most of the parts of Kyalami you just want to nudge the curbs a little bit. You don't want to really go over them completely because it just unsettles the car a bit. I mean, the Bentley is not as bad with that, but you just basically want to gently brush the curbs. So that's like, okay, that was the right, and now stick more, position the car more to the left.
Yeah, joining the service fine. Oh.
Too late.
I haven't got used to being that far over to the left yet. I keep falling into my comfortable line, which is like obviously on the right and going out into it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. But the ideal line is more to the left. When you see the black rubber markers from the other people braking, you want to be to the left of them. Yeah, it's okay to join the server. We have already two people there. Maninka is there.
Maninka is Rakon. Same person.
Oh, okay, cool. Can't keep up with all the names. You can also use a bit more on the exit here. In T2 on the left. Now try to carry more speed. Nearly there, yeah.
Oh, I took my eyes off for there. That, you remember when we done all that Aston Martin practice around Mazzano?
Yeah.
And it was that's slowly what we're getting to at the moment. It's the lack of concentration.
Yeah.
We'll get there though, it's fine. We'll have another little chat and a break in a sec. A couple of laps of fuel left. I feel it's coming though. I feel the 42 is on the horizon. Considering the goal was to get into the 44s from 46s, was we've already achieved that.
Already achieved, yeah. But I would really just try to let's soften the rear anti-roll bar by 1 click for the next stint.
Okay, if I can cut... Now I know if I'm cutting Crocodile enough. Because if I cut it enough then I need 4th gear into turn before I hit turn 4. The last turn, sorry, because I was very close to the sausage, but then I hit the rev limiter on the way out.
Yeah. What is a good lap around Spa? What a good lap is around
220. Yeah, 220, 219.
And if you want to be really fast, it's below 219. But aim at around 220, and I'm talking race pace. Having a 220 race pace is really good.
Okay, that was slidey.
Luger UK.
That was understeer slide into that corner again. Into this on the power on the fast left hander, right hander, sorry.
So if you, so
it's
the
more my
challenge right now
driving.
is if you have understeering on turn-in, and we soften the rear anti-roll bar, you would probably have even more understeering. But
well, we can try it, can't we? At the end of the day, give us something to.
I mean, at the same time, no, we can soften the rear and the front. No, let's just do one step at a time. So Luga, you're also learning Kailami. I really have.
You can plug your video. That's
I link my video, yeah, because if anybody wants to like learn Kailami from a beginner's point of view and get some pointers and insights.
Oh, sausage. It's only taken 30 laps to hit the sausage.
Let's just throw you my video in chat that you can check out for Kailami in the gameplay. Holy crap, Marius around Spa, he did a 217.3 in hot lap. I think that's pretty damn fast, actually. The race pace on Kailami absolutely depends on how competitive the field is. I would say a 141 is very fast race pace. I am usually somewhere around 142. Who's that? Holmes is following you. So you can just, if you really want to take a short break, just get into the pits and...
This is a rub, yeah?
Yeah, we can practice the pit entry. We're going to need it on Sunday anyway. Oh yeah, we've actually ruined that corner. Yeah, this is break time coming up.
I absolutely know the feeling. I was pushing for like a 3 or 4 hour session when doing the GT4 setup stream, and at the end I just couldn't increase anymore because it's just concentration is gone. Might even be that it's not coming back, so that's no problem. Let me just do a second part.
Yeah, that's right. Well, maybe what we do is we'll look at that anti-roll bar because it's been suggested in the chat for a couple of laps, and then we'll have a little overview of what how we've gone since the start. And we can always the next one we can always try a.
Yeah, we can always
try a car on a track I know.
Yeah. I mean, considering where you started, you're doing already fine, and you're kind of aware of where you are doing mistakes and where not. So that's already a very important part, because what many people also never do is look at their own driving, look at their own replays.
Yeah. I also need to learn how to do pit stops because that was awful.
It's now doing a pit stop.
Oh yeah, half. Also need to learn how the operates.
Yay! So you can just leave it there and yeah.
Yeah, it's fine. We'll leave it there for a sec. We'll go and fiddle with that anti-roll bar, and then we'll do a couple of laps on that.
Oh, thank you, Luca. Nice to hear. So, Chiron point, you need to shave off 4 seconds. It really depends on the split you are in. I think what would be a good race pace in amateur split on Kyalami, I think a brilliant race pace would already be a 144. And then in silver split it might be around 143, 142, and in pro split it will definitely be 141. And the qualifying times even 140.
Well, yeah, exactly. Like Jimmy Holm is a pro split driver. He hasn't done any. I don't think he's done any championship series with us yet, but he's a pro split driver essentially. And I was silver last season, so that's right.
Let's just quickly look at the tires with the temperatures and tire pressures again. But I guess now that
I'll
we've
just
got
reset
new tires, so they are screwed. Okay, So let's leave it there.
Yeah,
and we go mechanical grip. And set the rear anti-roll bar to 1.
To 1, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to make a new one for this because I'm quite comfortable where that setup was. So before we completely anti...
Yeah.
Oh.
And yeah, just a short explanation for Chet. The reason we are doing that is because Dan still experiences like turnout oversteer, meaning he's power sliding out of corners sometimes, because I think 60% it's his fault.
Oh no, that's being generous. 80% of it's my fault.
We are just trying to compensate for that. So when one of the solutions to decrease after decreasing differential preload and softening the rear suspension, we are now even softening the rear anti-roll bar to kind of compensate for the turnout oversteer. But it might now happen that Dan experiences even more like body roll and weight transfer, which like make the car unsettle
it's like real life,
or even result in like understeering when entering a corner. So that's what we are checking right now. I thought that you want to do a break.
Oh, we'll just do the anti-roll bar, then we can for a couple of laps see what it feels like, and then we can sort of wind down the stream, do a little review.
Yeah, of course, sure.
Especially now that Shane's joined the lobby, we can definitely do that. Shane's one of our your band drivers. He already owns one of the prestigious T-shirts that I'm wearing.
Yeah.
So if you are interested in signing up to your news, there's got quite a few new followers this evening that have obviously come for Stefan's presence and my dodgy driving. You can sign up to the Discord using the link below. It'll take you to our community. We're in the process of registering for season 3, which starts in a couple of weeks. Well, yeah, a week and a half now. We're on a Wednesday, so it starts week beginning the 23rd of November. And to enter into season 3, you need to take part in an evaluation race, which is taking free evaluation races are taking part every night this week, except Sunday evening, where we've got our end of season from season 2 invitational event, which is Kailami 2.4 hours. So if you're interested and want to have a crack and to see where you fit, we do a different evaluation process to most other communities in the fact that we don't do like a hot lap qualification. We do so I've seen the message in the chat, which you can't see because the camera's covering it. Yeah, so we do a different process where we'll do 20 car rough on average races, 2 20-minute sprint races, and we can come and send it around. So let's put it, any news on the track can of season 3. It's a very good idea to jump on the Kailami practice server. That is the information we that is the hint you're going to get for this last stint.
Yeah. So Chiron point, we just give it a try, you know, it's always a, better just experiment with ideas and see how it influences car behavior, and that's why we are saving the setup now under a new name to be able to always go back to the previous version. But are you noticing any difference so far?
I am noticing difference, but I don't know what. It feels less stable than... Like, I can't trust it as much. Like, a lot of my driving is onto trust, if that makes sense. I can't trust it as much as I could trust the last setup.
That's what I kind of expected.
Yeah. I don't know why, because I'm not that experienced, but I just can't, I can't trust it as much as I can trust the...
Because the car is not as stiff as much as it was before, and that just gives, the weight, the body, the weight transfer is now influencing the car even more.
That's cold tires.
Yeah,
that's that test done.
That test is done.
That test is done. Right, let's go back to our...
If looking at that, I would actually think if it might be a cool idea to increase anti-roll bar to up to 3 to make it more stable.
Okay, we can.
That might be the other test.
Yeah, we can load that, and I can try that in the week going into the race. But yeah, so if you're obviously coming in for the late part of the stream, we started on a first time ever driving the Bentley, but driven some
with a 146 or something.
Yeah, it's a high 146. We finished on a Let's have a little look actually. Let's go timetables.
I think it was 1:43.5.
Yeah, let's jump back.
So Marius Merz, are you guys happy with the Bentley? Overall, yes, it's a really cool car and I would definitely recommend driving it.
Yeah, I like it a lot. So yeah, it feels...
It's one of the reasons is especially it's very forgiving, especially on tires as well. So when you're racing in longer races, Bentley is actually one of the cars that does not shred the tires.
No.
And I was noticing that in one of the rain races we actually had that all the other drivers were struggling with their wet tires at the end, and I was putting in my best race times and lap times at the end in the Bentley.
Yeah, so I mean, at the end of the day, you're going to get more confident with the more fuel in it, and as it dwindles out, you're going to be a lot more stable with it. I think.
Yeah, and it has a 130-liter tank, as Flint posted correctly. That might even make the Bentley feel even heavier.
Yeah. And
perhaps a bit more challenging, but yes, you have more fuel in the tank, and it's also really good on fuel consumption if you compare it to like the AMG, which is like always like at least a liter more per lap.
That's the thing. I've been driving the McLaren in some of the evaluation races, and that chews up fuel for breakfast.
But
yeah,
it's the same with the AMG. On some tracks I have 4.8 liters or something, which is insane.
Yes, we've had a server reset since this. We started on pretty much the same time really, a 1:46.9. And then ended up in the mid 1:43s. Had a faster. Looking at the purple lap times, we could have got a 1:43.4. But there was a lap in here which I ruined somewhere, which was nearly at a 1:42. But I feel the 1:42s coming very, very slowly.
So as you pointed out, yes, it's about trusting the car. I actually have the same challenges when I drive. If I don't feel comfortable in a car, I can't push it.
Yeah.
And I think the progress you made today is actually trusting the car more, trying to learn what the car does and how to take it around the track. So the next step is to build up the trust and comfort and fiddle around a bit more with the setup. But the priority is definitely just learning what the car is doing and try to get it across the track as fast as possible. Yeah,
definitely. I think that'll just come with time with driving the car and such like that. But anyway, we're gonna call it a night there. We'll do a little bit of just the bits and pieces. So if, like I said during our driving, if you're interested in signing up to the Discord to join any of the races, you can hit that sign up link there. And also something that's new today, and it will be finished tomorrow. As you can see on my wall here, we have some very nice looking spotters guides from our Endurance Cup. We've been putting these together. So these are all the cars that are driving in our Endurance Cup, and they're all the liveries they used for round one. And you can buy them. They're posters. They're proper, really nice. I picked them up today. They're really nice quality posters, and you can, if you're interested in picking any of them up, you can find them on our shop, which is brand new. And also, you can also pick yourself up an ACCSS sticker if you want to put that on your wheel or your monitor or your wall or whatever you want to put it. And they're also all available on the shop. And we're going to be adding more and more merch. Because that's what you guys wanted. I didn't have any intention of bringing merch to ACCSS, and then you go and have a look in the feedback channels of the Discord, and people want merch and donating and stuff like that, which I'm ever so grateful for. But obviously, you don't need to feel the need to do that. But I say, thank you very much to Stefan below. You'll see Stefan a lot more on the channel. He is now a fully fledged commentator. And breaded in after our panic on Sunday evening or Sunday afternoon. So he's had panic stations ACCSS, but hopefully the next weekend or 2 weekends time, when this season starts, you'll be hearing the subtle tones of Stefan on a Friday evening on the Split stream, and you'll also be hearing him with Gareth on that day, as well as all the solo Endurance Cup streams, which the next one's going to be on December the 13th. Anything to add, Stefan?
I'm really looking forward to that. It's such just having to be able to talk without trying to focus on driving is so much more relaxing. So I'm really looking forward to commentating. It's a lot of fun with you guys. So thanks for having me and for giving me another opportunity to just share a bit my experiences and what I learned, and to pass it on. So I enjoyed this session so much, and to see your progress, and I'm looking forward to the next one.
Awesome, excellent. Well, thank you very much for joining us, guys, in the chat. Thank you to all the new followers. We've got Lima Tango Echo, Drommel, Flynn, Luger, Marios. Thank you very much for the follows, guys, and we'll see you all. Possibly the next stream will be. Oh no, it'll be Sunday. It'll be Sunday for the Kailami stream. So you'll be here back on Friday. We'll be here on Sunday night. Not too sure who will be here, but there'll be 2 of us here Friday night for the Kailami stream. So thank you very much for joining us, and we will catch you all next time.
Thoughts, emotions swirl. I want